Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2018 action thriller adventure film Bumblebee. This came out December 21st, 2018, directed by Travis Knight, starring Haley Steinfeld, Jorge... Oh my god, I forget his name every single time. Lundenborg Jr.? Jorge Lundenborg Jr.? I know him from Love, Simon, so he's incredible. And he's also in Spider-Man Homecoming, and he's also in Spider-Man Far From Home. Jorge, the awesome guy. Okay, John Cena's also in this. A slew of other people. Jason, how's his name? He played Greg Heffley in the newer Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. I forget his name. He's a good actor too, that kid. I hope he does well as he ages. So, this is the highest rated Transformers film. This is the 6th Transformers movie. This is a prequel to the 2007 Transformers film, and it is what the fans have always wanted. Let's put it that way. So, as I discussed in the previous review, there are loopholes within the Transformers timeline that they have provided us, right? I called them out so many times within the 4th and 5th one. But in the 5th one, they referenced that Bumblebee is fighting alongside Americans against the Nazis at World War II. It clearly couldn't have happened because Bumblebee, as we see in this film, as the prequel to the 2007 Transformers film, had escaped Cybertron and arrived on Earth, on the West Coast, near San Francisco, in 1987. So, no. He couldn't have fought in World War II. Unless this is an alt universe of Transformers, but I don't think it is. So, yeah. Movie starts out on Cybertron. The war's going on. Also, how long is the war on Cybertron? That's what I want to know. And Optimus tells Bumblebee he has to escape. He's going to go to Earth, defend Earth from any Decepticon that tries to take it over. We want to make sure that we have a place to go in case, we don't win the war. So, Bumblebee goes, 2 Decepticons follow him, whose names I don't remember, but Bumblebee, voiced by Dylan O'Brien, mind you, incredible actor that he is, inadvertently crashes a military exercise, and they obviously view him as a hostile alien, so they, fight against him, and then he escapes. He transforms into a beetle, VW Beetle, because he sees one, on the lakeshore where he kind of, fought with. And then eventually he ends up in a junkyard. Now, Haley Williams plays this character named Charlie Watson, 18 years old. Well, 17 years old. Her birthday's in this movie, so she turns 18. Her father passed away recently. She's suffering from PTSD. She was an avid diver for her swim team at school. She has not been in the water since. She struggles with depression, anxiety. She's very angsty because she can't get back to her normal self. Her mother remarried. Her younger brother Otis, played by Jason, is a master at the karate, but she can't get back into her original self, and it annoys her because she misses her dad so much. Obviously, they worked on a Corvette all the time, but she also works at a hot dog stand, and she works at a junkyard. So at the junkyard is where she found Bumblebee, made a deal with the guy who owns it, and he said, take it, happy birthday. So she gets Bumblebee for her birthday. He transforms in the garage. They have lots of heart-to-hearts as she's trying to fix him. She realizes that she can change the radio, so she takes the Corvette's radio out, puts it into B. He then learns to talk through the radio. But there's a lot of heartfelt moments in this film because Charlie is lost. She's upset. And she's trying to deal with the fact that her father is gone. And her memory is there. His memory is still there. But Bumblebee is lost and she's lost. So they find together at a perfect moment because they are helping each other. She is literally fixing him. He is there for her emotional support, unbeknownst to himself. But they work through these problems together. There's times where you're literally watery, misty-eyed, in tears watching this movie. And you're like, this is a Transformers movie. Why am I so emotional right now? This is a coming-of-age story that happens to have aliens and robots thrown into the mix. Jorge's character of Memo is a great addition as well. As he is the neighbor, he likes Charlie, but he then inadvertently gets thrown into this world as well. He and Charlie, go on adventures with Bumblebee, but then he is also fighting with Charlie for Bumblebee's right to be Bumblebee, right? cute little moments between them as well. I love Jorge. Jorge is an incredible actor. So this is set in 1987. You have a 1980s soundtrack throughout this entire film. The Breakfast Club is referenced throughout numerous points of this, especially the song Don't You Forget About Me, putting the fist up like this at the very end. Bumblebee does it at the end as well. It's just so incredible to see the references and the designs of the robots too. The Autobots and the Decepticons had that 80s flair. Transformers was a television show in 1984. That's when it first started, with Hasbro creating toys. So these figures, these robots, these Transformers had the 80s flair to their design throughout this entire thing, had the 80s flair tech throughout the entire thing. Incredible. John Cena playing a militant, guy turned good. Pretty awesome as well. But that's what stuck so well with critics and fans alike, is that this was true nostalgia to fans. This wasn't a money-grabbing kind of, film. This utilized on the 80s surge in pop culture we have currently. A lot of films are taking place in the 80s. Stranger Things being in the 80s, was another massive surge, that we've seen within pop culture. So the 80s are golden when it comes to film and television, obviously, right now. So it made sense to keep it in that 80s flair, and it worked. But what worked the best is because it's a coming of age. Charlie needed to find herself again and be helped her find herself. When he was trapped under the water, she faced the fear of diving ever again, because the last time she dove was the last time she saw her father before he died, the very next day of a heart attack. And she dove into the water to save Bumblebee, to save herself. It was just the metaphor galore on the whole front. I am so in awe by this film. It's in a tier of its own, and it's interesting because if you're rating it within the Transformers universe, of course the first movie is always the best, but this is a different Transformers movie. This is a totally different Transformers movie. Of course I can't wait for a sequel. Of course I can't wait to see what happens next. But yeah, I'm gonna say Transformers 1 is still my favorite. Bumblebee has to be number 2. Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, has got to be number 3. I'll do number 4 would be number 3, Dark of the Moon. Number 5 would be The Last Night, and number 6 would be Age of Extinction. Yeah, so this concludes our current discussions of the Transformers films. There's currently a Netflix show, I believe. It's animated. It still takes place in the Transformers universe. I have not watched it yet, but I'm curious. I'm very curious to see how it takes place within this Transformers cinematic universe that we've been bestowed upon. But 2018's Bumblebee, one of the greatest films of recent times. So heartfelt, so beautiful, perfect, wonderful. Mucho mahalo.